All right, welcome to Original Bacon. This is my sixth episode of Constantine review. Spoiler alert: if you haven't watched Constantine yet, it's a really good show on Hulu. Well, it's on CBS or NBC. I'm not quite sure which one, but I always watch it on Hulu. It's on Sundays. If you watch it on the actual channel on Hulu, it's on Sunday morning as soon as the next day they upload it. So, the spoiler alerts: if you haven't watched it yet, please watch Constantine. It's a really fun show, and I'm really excited that a controversial character as Constantine is on regular television. All right, sixth episode of Constantine. The name of the episode is Rage of the Caliban. John and Chase. The beginning of this episode, you hear these screams going into this house, and you hear basically this little girl, the demon inside of her, is murdering her parents, or her. I don't know if he's already murdered her mother, but you see her father on the ceiling being dragged up there, and then I believe she snaps his neck and he falls to the floor. This episode begins with John and Chaz learning that a series of murders through the map that was created at the very beginning of the series. Murders involving families with young children, in which both parents are violently murdered while the child escapes unharmed. Meanwhile, a young boy begins to act strangely, so the demon already jumped to another kid. After seeing an apparition in his bedroom, he's freaking out, saying that he's scared of the dark, and then he decides to be brave, and his parents turn off the lights, and then this demon comes walking towards him and goes to possess him. And then when his parents hear him scream right before he's possessed, then they come into the room, and he's a different kid. John realizes that he is chasing the spirit of a boy who was, well, he doesn't realize that until way later in the episode, but John realizes that he's chasing the spirit of a boy who killed his abusive parents and has since possessed multiple children before physically killing their parents over the past decades. Apparently there's like a spiritual line that all the murders have been following over the years, but because of whatever is coming to Earth, all of the spiritual energy is making it so he's now able to jump from kid to kid and murder again, because there have been like 3 murders all in the sequence of the spiritual road. And it seems like he only targets kids who are unhappy with their parents, because it seems like this boy is unhappy because his mom is getting together with this guy that's not his father. The other girl was unhappy, I guess, because her parents were super rich and didn't pay enough attention to them, or because he gets really freaked out when people are arguing. So I have a feeling that arguing and parents that are not around seem to be picked up by this kid. John tracks the spirit to its current host, but struggles to convince the boy's parents that he can help their son. He goes in saying that he's the school counselor after basically the demon boy is being picked on by another kid, and then ends up impaling the other, I don't know if he impales the other kid on like a tree, throwing him into something. I know that the kid ends up getting hit by it's a big toy that turns around and around, and the little boy's like sitting on it after the kid gets thrown off and hurt, and his parents are scolding him about not acting that way when John comes in, trying to convince them that he's a counselor, and then he whips out some garlic, or not garlic, a root of some kind that the demons are afraid of, and then he starts trying to convince the parents that that they have a demon inside their son and that he needs to be able to exorcise the demon. Manny appears to discuss John's own childhood abuse after the parents end up calling the cops, and then he ends up having to go. He ends up at the cop station, and Manny the angel shows up, and basically John and him are discussing his own parental abuse, his parents abusing him when he was younger, and suggests that John can only help the possessed boy and the spirit if he truly understands what they are suffering from. With help from the boy's mother, the boy ends up freaking out on the mom, and then she ends up going and bailing out John to have him exorcise the demon out of her boy, and she helps them do a seance inside the house of the first victim that they could find on record, and it was a boy who killed his parents with an axe, and but his parents were very abusive and would take him out back and put his hand on a stump, and depending on what he had done that day, either scare him that they're gonna cut off his fingers with the axe, or they actually would. So the axe and the stump and the fact that the boy was missing a ton of fingers was a lot of symbols towards him being in a demon or a spirit that's going to be very vengeful. With help from the boy's mother, John finally succeeds in exorcising the spirit and forcing it back into its original body. John ends up finding out he originally doesn't think that the boy who killed his parents with an axe was the person who was or the vengeful spirit that was killing the other parents, but he found out that basically the boy wasn't dead, but he was at a mental institution and he was comatose. Well, he wasn't comatose, but I guess he was a vegetable. He wasn't in a wheelchair. He wasn't being pushed around by anybody. He was sitting out in the yard. I don't know if someone carried him out there or something like that, but basically they exorcise the demon or the spirit, and the spirit leaves the boy and actually goes back to the original body, and they trap it in the original body where it was in comatose patient in the medical hospital. And so the end of the episode, you see the comatose patient waking up and just being super pain. He's just like shoving people everywhere, and he's just being completely horrible. So that ends that episode, but they were warned again that darkness was coming, and Chaz and John go back to the cabin where they've been all season. Thank you for watching Original Bacon. I don't know too much about John Constantine, so we'll find out what happens next. I'm really liking his character in Injustice right now. It seems like he is a more seasoned character in the Injustice series, so it'll be cool to see if this series lasts on CBS or NBC, and I'm really hoping it keeps on going and continuing because I really like it. And check it out on Hulu if you have not watched it yet. Thank you for watching Original Bacon, and have a great day.